Hi everyone. Today I want to show you what it's like to make a mini comic for your book review. To begin with, let's say you've read your graphic novel and now it's time to write your book review. In this case, I've chosen to write about a book I just finished read, which I highly recommend, The Man Without Talent by Yoshiharu Tsuge. It's a manga, but a very unconventional one. Has a really strange and peculiar style and of storytelling. Anyway, so I've read this, and now it's time for me to make my mini book review. To begin with, you probably noticed that there is a 2-page template that you can print out that will give you sort of the instructions, the same thing I'm talking about now. Now, the idea of this template is that this is actually one page that is going to be done sort of back to back, okay? So we have our page 1 over here, and then we come to the back side, we have our page 2, then our page 3, and then on the last side, we have our page 4. Now, to do this, you're going to need a piece of paper, and it's best if you can use something that's a little bit heavier. At the very least, you want something that's completely blank. You don't want to use lined paper. Okay, I like this stuff that's called cardstock or index paper. It's a little tougher and easier to draw on. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold your paper in half like this. So you're making your little mini booklet, as you can see here. All right, and then just as it says on the template, on your first page, which is the page up front here on your booklet, I'm going to draw a long line down the middle. And then about 2/3 down, I'm going to draw a bar across so that my page looks something like this. Okay, so on the top left side, I'm going to write a list of 7 things that happened in the story. Okay, and so as it says right here on your page 1, write down 7 things that happened in the book. Okay, these are things that you just remember. They might be out of order. But just remember the things that were significant that you thought were important to how the story unfolded. Then next you're going to write down things that you saw, visual things that were visually interesting, and be specific. You know, like you saw in this example, his shop where he sold stones. And so this is something visual that I remember. And then there's all this picture of this man with this giant bird. So there's a lot of sort of visual images that might have stuck in your head. You sort of write a list of those. Then on the bottom, you want to write a memorable quote. And on the other side here, you're going to make a drawing of one of the characters. So you can see in my page here from my things, I've written down what happened and what I saw in the book. And then I did a memorable quote. And then I did a sketch of the main character in the book. All right, so that's your first page. Now on your second page, you're going to go on the inside of your booklet here, all right, and you're going to create an X through the page. And so the X is just so that you don't think linearly, and you just sort of write whatever comes into your head. Whatever thoughts you have about the book, whatever things that come up that weren't so written down before, whatever you thought was quirky, bizarre, interesting, visually strange, or whatever strikes your fancy. Just write it all down here and however you want. Now it's time, with all the note-taking done, to write your book review. And to begin with, you're going to create a page. This is now your third page on the inside, and you're going to do the first top of the page to make a drawing from a scene in the book. Okay, try and think about something that was sort of visually interesting. It doesn't have to be super complicated, but do your best to try and communicate something that happened in the story to the best of your ability. Okay, then you start writing. Okay, and it's good to start thinking about it when you write, what was important about this book to you? How did it come across to you as being unique or novel or fascinating? And, use your sense of this was important, my understanding. You don't really want to recount everything that happened. You want to talk about the meaning of the story, the themes, the ideas, the way it affected you when you read it. This is the stuff that's really sort of reflective of your experience in reading the book. Okay, and you're going to write that on the third, and then you're going to finish up on the back fourth page. Now, if you noticed, the book review proper is no longer in pencil. I did the first 2 pages in pencil, and then I did the third and fourth pages also in pencil, but then I went in and I got myself my felt tip pen and I inked it in, and I improved my handwriting and I corrected some errors that I wanted to expand on. Anyways, pencil is just your first draft. This is the real deal right here. So once you've got it inked in, it should look really striking like this, and it'll be easier to see, especially since you're going to turn this in to me as a photograph, and pencil can be very hard to read from a photograph. Okay, so I've inked it in, and the last thing you want to do after you've inked it in is you want to carefully erase all your pencil lines as best as possible. It just looks neater, it makes it easier to read, and it creates a really nice finish. And that's really what comic artists do all the time. You do a pencil sketch, you ink it in, and then you erase the pencil lines. This is the way comics, for the most part, have been made for quite some time. Okay, so this is your project. Now, the last thing that you need to do is you need to photograph that. And to do that, once you have your page made, you want to lay it flat on a table, and you want to take out a camera. Okay, here I have it on my desk. And I'm going to take out my camera phone, of course, and I'm going to open it up. And I have an app called Cam Scanner. And what I like about Cam Scanner is that it provides an opportunity for me to take a picture, all right, of my page, and then it automatically looks at the page and selects the page itself. And there's nothing else included. And I move forward and it crops it down, it cleans it up, and it makes it very clear. So only the stuff that I want to record is recorded. And the page looks great. Okay, so now I check this and I have my first page. I want to add a page, so then I go and I flip this over and I add my second page to my first. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I scans and cleans it up. Looks great. So now I have both pages, and I can send this. I just have to click on email, and it will. I can do share PDF, and it will create a PDF that I can send to myself. All right, that's how easy this can be. All right, so that's your basic instructions. If you can't get Cam Scanner, I think there's a free version. There are other apps that provide the same features. Otherwise, it's really important to have good daylight that's indirect, not directly hitting the picture you're trying to copy. And it's also good to kind of make sure you're up above it. Your shadow is not in the way, or the camera shadow is not in the way of your taking the picture, okay? So you want a good clean picture. If I have trouble reading it, of course, all your hard work is for nothing, okay? And you want to make sure you send that as a PDF and upload it to the Dropbox on D2L. That's it, folks. It's a lot of fun. It's a chance for you to kind of explore a graphic narrative in a book review in a very visual and graphic narrative-like way. All right. That's it. Catch you later.